Week 3 Paradise Valley podcast. We are back, having a little video issues there, but we're all good. Joined by Patrick Jamross. What's good, Pat?
What's going on? A lot better this week than I was last week.
I bet. D. Brown, I don't know about if the same can be said about him.
Same cannot be said out of our front office. 0-2, tough start.
0-2, and our guy in the studio, Dapson, 0-2 as well.
Unfortunately, we are 0-2. Well,
all right, it's really getting into the thick of things, boys. Let's jump right into it. Get into the recaps from week 2. Starting to feel real. You guys, big matchup. Was looking forward to it. Wasn't close. What happened, D. Brown?
I don't know, man. Coming into the week, projections were looking real good our way. And, I mean, like I said on the podcast last week, I was like, the projections are looking nice, but I'm not going to put it past Ross to get his best lineup out there. And come Thursday night, I see 2 Browns in his lineup. And I'm like, is this his best lineup? And it sure was. I mean, Hunt went off. OBJ with an early touchdown, questionable touchdown. It was a tough one.
It was a tough one.
Yeah.
Opposite end. Ross, how are you feeling?
I'll tell you, it was one of the most satisfying feelings I've had in the Valley after the shit I was getting Thursday afternoon to stick with the Browns and then walk into Friday morning with a 38-point lead. I think it was at some points kind of close on Saturday or Sunday in the early games. Rojo got in the end zone early. Julio dropped that TD. And then game flow really helped me in that Cowboys one. Dak had probably 25-plus points in the second half. Miles Sanders, he's coming back to form. We like to see that. Noah Fant, he's looking like a top 10 tight end. So we like what we're seeing. McCaffrey looked good. Until he got hurt, he still had a very good fantasy day. I think it's all coming back to that 4th-round pick for D. Brown of Deshaun Watson. Where is he at for what some of the QBs have been putting up? It's like, where are you at, Deshaun?
Literally. And then, like you said about McCaffrey, somehow, no matter what, regardless, it's like he gets his numbers. And then, of course, he goes down with a brutal injury. Not looking good for his outlook. But, yeah, Deshaun Watson, we've been looking around the league because right now, 0-2. We want to improve the roster, and I've just been looking around trying to shop Deshaun and just looking at some of the potential offers that I got out there. I'm like, I could have had this guy instead of Watson, this guy. And, yeah, Watson hasn't put up the numbers. So, Julio, I'm pretty sure he dropped 2 touchdowns. It was just one over the shoulder. It was like, come on, man. Julio's
from Russell Gage, too.
Yeah, that was – I thought going off? Was a touchdown.
No, Russell Gage threw the ball to Julio.
Oh, did he really? I didn't even know that. But, yeah, Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage, they're going off. Julio had a good week 1, but hasn't found the end zone yet. That's just typical Julio. I'm hoping now going forward with Saquon and Sterling Shepard out that we can rely on Evan Ingram a little more. But like Ross said about Noah Fant, he's looking like a stud. But Drew Lock now injured. We'll see if Ross sticks with him.
Yeah, but all his points came with Driscoll last week.
True.
So,
True.
He's an athletic guy.
Driscoll's from Florida, isn't he?
Yeah, Florida Gator.
Yeah.
But we're at, like D. Brown said, it's one of us was going to walk out 1-1, the other 0-2. And the mindsets heading into this week are just completely different. We have kind of a clear mind. We like where our roster's at. We like the upcoming schedule. We think we can string some wins together. And we like how the Pirates are looking right now.
Yeah, exact opposite for us. This is just an alert out there. We are actively looking to make some trades. So, I feel like I got some good pieces on our team. So if anyone's out there and they want to make some trades, I'm looking to improve if you're looking to improve.
I think
like my offer earlier.
Definitely a tough start.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Sandman, we'll have him as a guest, so we'll kind of go over this one quickly. Big win over Dim Dogs. What'd you guys think?
Is this mine?
Yeah, kick us off.
This was, it was a good matchup, 160. Trev at the end coming up and getting the money from C-Mac. That was, like you said, going to go down in the history books, just an insane comment by C-Mac asking for his money. But Trev's looking like he's got a solid team. Terry McLaurin so far has looked real solid. His all 3 of his RBs. His top 2, Kamara and Carson, are looking real good. Connor had a big bounce back week. There was some question marks heading into the week, but you got to feel good if you're a James Conner owner after that performance. Dim, he kind of came back down to earth. His RB2 with James Robinson, I don't know. That's a little sketchy going forward for the rest of the season, so we'll see. But, yeah, it was a good matchup.
I didn't realize McLaurin had that many points. Damn.
Yeah,
I think
McLaurin
that's
is
a
like
big point
he's
for.
the wide out one there. He gets fed.
I think that's a key part of Sandman's team, McLaurin and James Conner. If they can keep producing as wide receiver 2 and the flex spot, that's going to be big. For Dim's side, I personally did not like the trade he just made. Zach Ertz Carson Wentz is usually his favorite target. I just didn't think that Tyler Boyd was that needed on his roster. I think he had some good options at wide receiver, and Tyler Boyd's the second in Cincinnati. And yeah, he scored a late garbage time TD, but I just didn't love it. I don't love Cook.
Is he
I
going to
like
start
Hurts more than
Baltimore's D against KC too? Like,
No, I'm wondering that. I feel like he's gonna. I think he's got it.
He was raving about it. He was like, Baltimore's D's #1. It's like, yeah, they're also playing Mahomes this week. Like,
yeah,
I mean, they are a good defense. They are definitely a good defense.
Oh, they are a
definitely
good
defense,
D.
but NFL defense, like again, going against the Chiefs in fantasy, do you want to start that? I mean, but they can definitely take away the ball. So
I would never start a defense against the Chiefs. I think you're insane to do that.
no, yeah, I agree.
Especially trading for a defense the week before you wonder if he was hammered on Sunday night and just didn't even realize who they had.
Yeah.
I think they were both drunk when they made that trade.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. All right, we're going to talk to Sam, man, so let's move it on.
Yeah.
All right, tough one for us. After a big week 1 win, did not have it, but I still feel all right about the team. I think just some tough matchups. Allen Robinson did not show up. We're hoping he's going to turn around. He's going to be a big key to our season. Obviously, the trade we made did not pan out this week with, David Johnson going for 6 and Dave Montgomery going for like 20, and then Higbee went off for like 25. So I still would have lost even if I didn't make that trade, but tough to see. Hoping for a big bounce back week, and got to give it to Kirch. Cam Newton is an absolute stud. His strategies worked out, and Jonathan Taylor's picking it up and looking like a top 10 back. So got to give Kirch some credit. Good week for him, but tough loss for the Warriors.
I mean, and when Kirch first took Jonathan Taylor, it was in the 4th round. That was definitely with Marlon Mack there. That was a little early. It's like we were looking at that as a potential hole in his roster, and now it's just like it seems like, damn.
I mean, it's definitely some good fortune there. I think. We keep hinting at Mark Ingram's gonna get less and less touches out of that backfield, so that's a scary part. But DK is kind of turning into a star. And
there's Chris Godwin too.
Yeah, Chris Godwin will be good. I like Kirch's team. He always puts together a solid team. I respect him as an owner. Tough week for Hall for sure. I think Allen Robinson. If I'm Shaw, this is probably my last week he gets a sure-in start with the way that an Edelman's playing, the way that Marquise Brown's playing, and some guys on his bench because Robinson really hasn't shown up. And, I mean, Ridley's been by far the best guy in fantasy, in my opinion, through 2 weeks.
Love Ridley.
So that's tough.
I've got 6 guys. What's up?
Oh, yeah. I think
best player?
the best. Yes.
Yeah.
He has the most fantasy points by a wide receiver by like 11 points or something like that.
Yeah.
It's wild. But I have 6 wide receivers ranked inside the top 22 this week. So a lot of wide receivers that are right there at the same bar. It's going to be tough week in, week out who decided to start. So that'll be interesting to watch out for as well for my squad. All right, the Kangaroos. KKK got on the board, the win column.
Lane coming off the high scoring outing, then now he faces one of the higher scorers after loses Saquon. That's a tough blow. I mean, he's only got Melvin Gordon. Who's his other RBs besides Melvin Gordon? It's looking like a slim roster there.
DeAndre Swift starting this week. But
yeah. And
Devontae Adams with an injury. And like we were saying before, Will Fuller was a big question mark. He puts up a dud for him this week. Absolutely just a donut. It's like
that's what you expect out of him. A big week, then a bad week, or a big week, and then he gets hurt in the first quarter. He's not a reliable fantasy guy. But when I was looking at this matchup coming in, I was thinking, oh no, Sheen, is this going to happen again? He lost Michael Thomas. He lost George Kittle. And then 10 minutes into Sunday, John U. Smith's got a TD. Raheem Mostert's got a 50 or 80-yard TD. It was like, oh, shit, like Sheen's going off. So
and then
it was big for him. Yeah, and Aaron Jones went off. So, I mean, Sheen's – I don't think he can –
getting bit with the injury bug, but he's fighting through it.
Yeah, he's fighting through for sure. And it was kind of crazy, like, the first 30 minutes of Sunday, it was like Sheen was going to win highest score. And then I had a big second half, and it was like, oh, I might win. And then Mac came in. And then finally the Wolf on Monday comes in. Even Kirch, like, flirted with it Sunday night. So it was pretty entertaining race for the the highest score because none of the matchups were close besides that.
It was.
Funny
C-Mac
thing
had
on
sorry.
funny thing on Sunday, real quick. C-Mac when D, you were like, yeah, like looks like it's gonna come down to you two for highest score, and C-Mac's like, what about me? Like, all right, dude.
Oh, no, I remember Lane's like, sucks D's going to have to face the highest score both weeks. And he's like,
No, he said
I'm still competing for
yeah.
highest score or something like that.
No, he said
Took
it's not
serious
set
offense to
in
it.
stone. It's not set in stone. He didn't even use the right phrase. Nah, I said
Yes.
in stone. And it's like, I'm just correcting because it's like, you can't be going around using that phrase like set in stone. That's not what it is. Set in stone. So it's
I
like,
just mentioned that because of what he said later. We'll get into it when Trev gets on the phone. But good week for the Killer Kangaroos. Did he change his name? Do you guys know?
It's
haven't
just the
seen
killer.
anything
It
yet.
was the kiddo.
But he said he's totally changing it. I thought. We'll
Oh
see.
yeah. I mean, come on, that at this point we're expecting it, man. Wash the name.
Speaking of the Ravens' nest, the non-high scorers here, big win for the Snappers.
C-Mac there's a lot of teams put out like 150 at least this week. I mean, like we were saying in the group chat earlier this week. But C-Mac or C-Dap, welcome to the 0-2, man. It's a tough start for us. But I don't know. C-Dap's roster, looking at it, AJ Green, can you rely on him? I mean, I was hitting him up for some trades for AJ Green. Not nothing big, but it's like AJ Green, big game sometimes, not too reliable. Juju and Cooper, solid wideouts, but I don't know, Dap. Maybe make a move, man. We're 0-2.
I think CDAP biggest hole is by far the QB. He's got the worst QB room in the league. Tom Brady and Drew are both looking old because it's tough when you look at those scores and you got Nick Chubb getting 25, Eckler getting 16, and Dap's barely breaking 100. Like you need more out of Tom. You need more out of your flex spot with Green. So, but I got to give C-Mac some credit. Every time he continues to zig when everyone zags, he makes these trades. Everyone hops on him. We know it's Hall, we know you're going to say it's not over yet, and I completely agree. You can't judge a trade off 1 week. But to see Higbee go off for 3 TDs, to see David Montgomery have his best fantasy game yet in his young pro career, it looked like a successful trade because he still has Lamar Jackson. But then again, Lamar Jackson's second-round pick, he's only the 10th quarterback right now. So, I mean, we all know what he can do, and he could easily have 3 games and be the number 1. But I liked what that trade produced for him. We'll see if it can continue to produce wins.
Absolutely.
Yep. And I'm facing him this week. He doesn't have Montgomery in the starting lineup. So now he's got some depth. It's like he's got decisions that he can make now.
For sure.
Whereas before, because of the Lamar second round, he was kind of a little bit tighter. But, I mean, we'll see. It's definitely got to play out.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on. Looks like Trevor Jamross is joining us. We'll give him a second here. Get situated.
Oh, let's go, Sandman.
Sandman.
Gentlemen, how are thou?
Sandman.
There he is. What's up, dude?
Not much. Feeling pretty good after
There
that
he is.
epic Monday night finish. Oh, God. Look at that picture. Where'd you guys dig that out of?
Just
Your
our
brother did.
producer, what he does.
Our producer's talented, man.
Bad scientist.
Trev, how's it feel? Let's kick it off. How's it feel to be 2-0? A lot of shit talk going into the year. You beat C-Mac, then you come back, crush him for highest score. I know there's been talk in the group chat, but how are you feeling?
I feel great. Just an absolute epic fantasy start. I mean, I think this shows that year 1 was a fluke. I mean, I was robbed for $3K. I've said this. No one believed me. My mind just was not into the draft. Now, I came in with a strategy. I executed the strategy to perfection, and it's paying off. I mean, the fact that I got to take Mac out week 1 and then week 2 steal highest points from him on Monday night, and the man didn't even have any idea was the absolute cherry on top. He's my rival. I mean, you guys said it week 1. Like, I butt heads with him. I gave him that trade last year, and I don't know. I just look forward to every time I play him. Any chance I can get a shot at him.
We love it. Trev, we love having you in the Valley. And then earlier this week in the group chat, you said in the message group text, you said you could lose every game from here on out and it'd be a success for you. Can you elaborate on that statement a little bit?
It goes back to the Max statement. I mean, I came into the season with one thing in mind. I was like, I need to get my revenge on Mac. And after 2 weeks, it's like the guy can't get rid of me. I take him out week 1 with my number 1 wideout out and Connor going down. And then week 2, he's talking about Venmo requests. He's probably already spent the $50 Sunday night, and I get to take it from him. It was just so.
Love it.
I watched the whole game because I was like, maybe I'll have a chance. I was like, I'll probably end up going to bed at half. And at halftime, I was like, I might take this thing. And I was about to text the group and be like, watch out, Mac. But I was like, I don't want to jinx it. And then they just kept scoring. They kept feeding Waller. Kamara was getting 10 yards a touch, getting in the end zone. And when he finally got in, so I actually won by like point. I don't know if you guys were watching, by like 0.3.
I was watching. Wasn't the last play of the game Kamara got a catch?
He got 2 catches to make me win by 4. But so they had like 30 yards to go, and I was actually thinking, I was like, oh shit, there might not even be enough yards to score, or to cover even with a touchdown. They threw like a slant to Kamara for like 15 or 20 yards. He got tackled at the 5. I quickly checked the app, and with a touchdown, I would win by like 0.3. And he got in the next play. They gave it to him. And then that's when I texted the group like, oh, sorry to spoil your birthday, C-Mac. And then I was where it's like, oh shit, if he gets the ball again and fumbles. And then they just dumped it to him twice. But realistically, I won by like, it was like 0.4. It was just epic.
Waller had a night. I mean, that was just a huge night from Waller.
Waller's looking good. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't really watch many Raiders games last year, but the guy doesn't miss a snap. I think he missed.
He was good last year.
I know he
They
was
don't
good.
throw the ball to him in the red zone, though. That could
He's
be.
got a pretty cool story, too. He's got a good
He
story.
gets a lot of targets from Carr.
Louis Riddick was just sucking his dick all night. He was literally just like, he's like best player on the Raiders. Like, you got to find a way to get him the ball. They're like, oh, this guy's amazing. Look at how Gruden's moving him around the formation. He literally sat out like 3 snaps, and it was only when he had like a 25-yard catch and he was gassed. Other than that, he's in every single play. Can't ask for much more.
No, you
So
can't.
you executed the strategy, so there's no moves in your future, or as of now?
Sam, man, let's take a deeper dive into this roster. You're pretty gun-ho on Matt Stafford, and it doesn't look like he's the answer there. There has been reports of a Deshaun Watson type trade.
There was me and these front office had multiple conversations. We've had, what do we have?
For a couple of days.
We had McCaffrey thrown around. Julio Jones has been thrown around. We've had Watson thrown around. I've thrown around Carson, Connor. I like the way he does business. I mean, they are legit deals. I'm so salty about last year where I was like, I don't want to ruin my season on a bad trade. I'd rather ruin my season on a bad injury, or like Kamara gets hurt, Carson stops producing, but like I don't want to just have a shit trade again where it's like, why the hell did you do that? Not that I would have won last year anyways, but that was like the final nail in my coffin. I was like, I was backed into a corner, needed to make a move, and it just didn't work.
Sam, and some are questioning the depth, your bench, and whether, if guys get hurt, bye weeks, things like that, you're going to be able to keep it up and keep winning. How do you feel about it? Do you think you need to make some pickups, some moves, or are you comfortable with your bench and where it's at?
Very comfortable with the bench. I mean, I hadn't, like you said before, I didn't have Galladay, so I dove into my bench already. Like he's an everyday starter. Already lost him. Marvin Jones subbed in. I mean, AJ Brown, he remains to be seen. I mean, wasn't much week 1, hurt last week. I mean, I got 3 strong backs. I mean, obviously I'm concerned about Connor's health, but I like the bounce back week. But like I said, I'm prepared for Connor to get hurt, and then ideally that's AJ Brown's spot. I mean, who's my other wideout? I mean, I really don't have another back. I have those.
Marvin Jones.
But I'm not going to.
Galladay's there. You can't rely on him.
I'm not. Yeah. Oh, I have Robbie Anderson, who, I mean, he's nothing great, but he's put up 2 decent weeks. So
streaky, definitely streaky.
I mean, it's smart to handcuff Connor with Benny Snell.
I saw that pickup by you, Trev Miles Gaskin.
I got Gaskin. I think I had a great waiver day today. I also picked up Hyde. So if Carson goes down, those touches are probably going there. I mean, I read something where they might split him with Homer, but I mean, I watched obviously the Pats game, and like Hyde looked pretty good when he was getting the rock. I feel like if Carson's down, I feel like he's going to get 75%. So
That's a good pickup.
Yeah, I thought it was a good
See that.
Sandman, what's the key to the roster heading into this big 2-0 clash?
Matty
Who do you
Stafford. Matty Stafford. He's got his number one back. This is it. This is his final test. If he doesn't put up at least 20 this week,
There's
he's
no
down.
consideration for Goff.
Goff's playing the Bills.
Yeah, they got the Bills.
I just feel like the Rams offense is so much more like run clock management. Not that the Lions like air it out, but I mean, I feel like the Cardinals are going to score. So the Lions are going to have to put up points as well to stay in that series, where Buffalo Rams, like I can see like a 17-13 clock management, pound the ball game. So I'm going to give it to Stafford this week. We had faith. We're not going to bail on him yet. Let's see what he does with Galladay. I think it's going to open stuff up. I really do.
Good. Should only
But
help.
I will admit, yeah, I'm not an idiot. Like, clearly that's the weakest part of my roster. I mean, me and Caleb took the last couple quarterbacks. So, I don't know. I wanted depth at running back. I think I got that. I mean, I got 3 strong guys, so I'll take that. And then I don't think QB is important, but we're already seeing it's not as big as last year with this half-point PPR. It definitely slims the gap a little bit.
I will say, out of the 5 guys who had 145 plus, Sandman was the only one who I believe had less than 20 from his QB, or maybe Lamar, but between
Lamar at 17.
me with Dak, Sheehan with Kyler, and Kirch with Newton, we all had big days out of our QB. So that does show that there is some production out of the other players on the squad.
I mean, C-Mac only had 17, but he got 15 out of his kicker. I mean, Alvin Kamara right now looks like the best player in fantasy. The guy was literally 10 yards a touch Monday night. And I actually love the way they use him. I hated it at first. They'll give him the ball. He'll sit out 3 plays, comes in again, 10 yards, sits out. So he's not getting gassed. He avoids hits because he's so fresh. Like, even if he's, like, cornered, he just runs out of bounds. He's been getting goal line touches. I'll take it.
Yeah, I was thinking him or Zeke are like just the most reliable so far.
Yes, I mean, Zeke's solid as well. Yeah. I mean, Jacobs has been good too. I mean,
I
the
saw
Raiders.
someone tweeted
Calvin Ridley.
Top 5 running backs. It's like Kamara, Zeke, Jacobs, a couple other guys, and then they're like Jonathan Taylor could be in there as well. So it's definitely just from 2 weeks in, the draft rankings have shifted a lot, but Kamara is one of those guys that is what could be number 1 if it was redrafted today.
Oh,
I was just going to say that. Yeah, I think he would go 1, him or Zeke, definitely.
Yeah, I saw a podcast, or it was like Yates and Barry, and that's what they said. They're like, Zeke, either 1 or 2 with those. I mean, obviously.
I mean, but is that off with the injuries though? That's with the
injuries.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if we were drafting teams after this week with all the injuries that happened, who would go 1? It'd be like Zeke or Kamara.
Definitely.
Trev, switching gears here, just because you were, had a flirtation with last place last year, looking tough for D Brown and Dap, 2 of the guys so far. Who's your prediction for last place?
I mean, I think I got to go with the producer, the Dap. I didn't know the guy didn't have a winning season in like 10 years. And this week in, week out. I mean, these lineups looking pretty rough. Like this week, like I can't see him getting past 0-3. He's got a guy in his number 2 running back is a guy that's coming off the couch. So I don't know. I think he might make a move. I mean, before
I'm trying, man. I've been absolutely trying with every owner pretty much in the league.
I mean, I'll say the deal. He was going to give me Julio for Connors, and I strongly thought about it. Just because, I mean, I'm getting it. What you get? You got him 2nd round. I got him 4th. So, like, I'm trading up, but I don't know. Like I said, I just don't want – I love Connors' matchup this week. He's playing the Texans. Run D sucks.
We would love that in our lineup. Instead of Freeman. Instead of Freeman.
I want to beat Kirch this week, too. I want to be 3-0, sitting
Yeah, that's crazy that the projections are 116. That's nuts.
It's going to be a dogfight.
Oh, yeah.
He said he's starting Wilson, too, so finally he starts his number.
What are those matchups for his QBs? Who's Wilson got?
Wilson.
Cowboys.
And then
the
Cowboys or the Raiders.
They're
Pats have
both pretty
who?
good matchups. The
Raiders.
Raiders.
Oh, that's tough. That's a tough call.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
the
it
Cowboys
is.
is the better. I mean, the Cowboys have just been those.
Like
have
in
been
a way, I
eyes
don't
on.
want that call in my lineup, right? Like I don't want
No,
them to sit there. I just want one
That's
of
what
them.
like. That's what I keep saying to him. It's like he's like, I like the flexibility, but it's like it's literally just like a coin flip every week. If they
That's
keep
tough.
playing like they are, and one of these times someone's going to go for 30, and the other one's going to go for like 15. And he's
I mean,
gonna
I
feel like
guess
an idiot.
I guess he'd rather have the other one on his bench rather than in someone else's lineup, which in a way sometimes works, but it's like he could have some pieces.
All right, Trev, any final words for us before we send you off?
Yeah, just C-Mac. How's it taste? Revenge, as they say, because I don't think you read my text or you read it and didn't understand it.
Literally.
Revenge is a dish best served cold. I waited all year. I took your shit. I took you down week 1. And then Monday night, I had my big guy Kamara come out and Waller. They balled out. They stole $50 out of your pocket. I'll see you week 10. Boys, thanks for having me.
Peace, Trev. Love it.
See you soon, man.
Always a pleasure, Trev. You're always welcome here.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, what do we got next?
Classic.
Yep.
Over under?
Over unders, boys. Solid week.
1-0 last week with his
Yeah, let's recap them all actually, because I forgot who your guys' were. Ross, you had Kenyon Drake last week, didn't you?
I had under.
Yeah. Did he hit it or what? Because he had a TD. I was wondering what it was at.
No, he had like 10 points.
Let's check it.
It was like 14, I believe, and then Eckler was like 14 as well, and I had it over.
Yeah, he only had 10.5, so he definitely went under.
All right, let's jump into overs.
Let's do it. All right, so my over this
Yeah.
week, speaking of him, it's Kenyon Drake. Definitely a homer pick. We're 0-2. We need this win. So we're putting all our money in Kenyon Drake's bag. 14.6. He's got a decent matchup against the Lions. I mean, I'll take that. Let's go, Kenyon. You're our second-round pick. This is why we picked you. It's time for 2 TDs and a 20-point week.
Like it.
Need it. Going with Amari Cooper. Nice matchup against Seattle. That secondary looks tough. And if you just look at the Cowboys' 2 games, Dak had 3 rushing TDs last week. He's only had 2 passing TDs. One went to Zeke, one went to a tight end. He's due to find some of those wideouts in the end zone this week, and I think he finds his favorite target a couple times. I think Coop goes for a big day.
Cool.
I'm going to the same game, opposite team. I'm going Chris Carson. I think that's going to be a pretty high-scoring game. Carson's been involved in the passing game this year. I think he has 3 passing touchdowns. And
He has been.
Yeah, he's got like 6 or 7
Surprisingly more than I would have expected.
Hey, it's my over, not yours, pal. I'm just kidding. But yeah, 13-5 seems low. They're going to score a lot of points. I bet he finds the end zone. I like Chris Carson going over 13-5 and keep my undefeated streak living. Let's move on to unders.
Forget who I got as my under. I need to look real quick. Bring it up. Yeah, we got Darren Waller coming off his big week. I saw he popped up on the injury report. That's not why I picked it, but I picked it because the Pats usually game plan for the opposing team's best stuff. I mean, it's going to be obviously him and Jacobs, and I just think the Pats are going to focus on the run like they will, and then they're going to be like, all right, who are they going to pass to? It's going to be this big tight end, and I think the Pats are going to lock him down. 11.4 is a little – that's high for a tight end. He needs 100 yards or he needs a TD, so I don't know. I think the Pats are going to lock him up. Well, although with a half PPR, it's easier to get those, but I think Darren Waller going under.
Nice stuff. All right. Stephon Diggs, under 12.3. He's got Jalen Ramsey on him. I think he's had 2 really cupcake matchups to start the season with the Jets and the Dolphins. I think that's the same that can be said with Josh Allen. We'll see what he's made of with a tougher defense here. Donald breathing down his throat. I think I have no stats to back this up, but I feel like Diggs does not perform that well against good players. I think,
Wow.
And he'll be a little drama queen about not getting the ball. So,
Producer, let's get those stats.
I think it's the honeymoon stage is going to come to an end this weekend, and Diggs is going to throw up a dud.
I love it. C-Mac's going to take him out of his lineup because of this, but it's all right.
I like that, yeah.
Because he's starting his flex right now, C-Mac. But it will be switched for David Montgomery because of this.
Sorry, D.
No, I love it.
up there. Yeah, 13 points. I just don't think that's going to be a pretty game at all. I think it's going to be one of the uglier games of the year, to be honest with you. James Robinson's been good. He's gotten into the end zone both games, though. And I just don't know how high scoring of a game this is. I think he needs a touchdown to get over. And I don't know if he's going to get one. And even if he does, he still needs 70 yards. And I don't know. I just don't see that game being too offensive. And I think, they still have other guys that get in and get some scores. So 13 seems like a lot to me.
Tim's going to love this. Tim's going to just feel like this is a direct shot from Hall at him.
Someone's already called.
I had him. His guy is my under last week too, I think. So
didn't what?
Didn't you call out James Robinson earlier?
Did I what?
You called out James Robinson earlier on
I
Jim's
don't know.
roster. I think you did.
Yeah, but I mean, Jim definitely just feels like there's a connection with Hall, and he's going to love this. I know it.
I'm trying to win over under, and if I have my unders repeatedly, I'm gonna do it.
I will say I considered this as my under as well. This has got to be the worst Thursday night game of the year.
And we're starting Gardner Minshew.
Wow, the stash.
That's just the
You
state
saw
of
Barry's
our
advice, or did you see Barry yesterday? I think, or maybe it was today. Said if I have Watson, I'm picking up the stash and starting him.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I know. Literally, it's my roster, dude. I literally clicked on it. There's a video, split screen, Minshew on one side, fucking Watson on the other. And the title, it just says, Minshew gives you a better shot at winning week 3 than Watson. And I just go, fucking A, man. Because that's what I thought.
That,
it's like, but of knowing that, it's like Minshew would go for 9, Watson would go for 38.
To week 3 previews here. All right, so D versus C-Mac. This one's me. Projection's not looking great for D Brown, as we talked about with Trev. Devontae Freeman coming up off the couch. 5.2 projection, but you really don't know. It could be, 5 carries for 10 yards, and that's it. It could be somehow he explodes. San Francisco, that D line Solomon Thomas, Nick Bosa, both on the IR today. It'll be an interesting game. Both teams are very heavily affected by injury, but starting Dobbins, even against KC, it's going to be a high-scoring game. So maybe he bails you out with a touchdown, but risky there. At the same time, though, I think Minshew's a good play. I think Julio's due to turn it around at some point. Kenyon Drake's got a pretty good matchup. I could see you putting up, over 95 and giving it a chance. Then, moving over to C-Mac. Unfortunately for you, D Brown, I think Lamar is going to have an absolute game. I think Zeke's got a pretty nice matchup there as well. Fournette, I'm not sold that he's absolutely the guy there yet. I think it's going to be back and forth week to week. So I'm not sure if he's a solid RB2 at this point, but still just looking down the roster, I got to give the advantage to D Brown. I'm picking D Brown. I think
wow.
What? I'm going to go for it.
I'm telling you, I'm definitely scoring more than my projections. I'm scoring.
I'll say
95.
Devontae Freeman would just be an absolute mad
absolute
pick.
surprise.
I see a trade in your future as well, so I don't think Freeman's starting for you. So
I will say this: when I first picked him up,
update
earlier today, he was projected for 6 points. Now they got him at 5.
I don't know what either of you guys just said. To be honest,
that depth?
We got a Stephon Diggs stat update that Ross requested.
I want to hear this.
Stephon Diggs has only faced Jalen Ramsey once in his career, and he only got 3 targets for 50 yards.
All right. That's a good stat. Ross was talking about all good corners, though.
Yeah, that's a tough stat.
That's hard to find.
Yeah, no, I know. Hey, good shit. The producer popping in.
They got Dop at ESPN. We got Dap here at Paradise Valley.
Daniel Dap. We got Dappy Dap.
All right, let's move on. Is this next one me too? I think it is.
I believe it is.
Or nope.
Yeah, this is you.
They're all switching now.
Oh shit, this is me. Sorry, my bad. All right. We got Sheehan still as the killer kangaroos. Could see a name change there. Kyler Murray absolutely showing up, and Aaron Jones. Those two is just really lighting that his team up, and we'll see if they can keep it up. Getting Michael Thomas back potentially. We'll see. You guys hear any updates there on him and Kittle? I think they're both still truly questionable, but we'll see.
The Saints had a simulated practice. He didn't practice.
Gotcha. So, he could be, one of those guys. He's so good, he doesn't have to practice to get out there on the field, but still a little sketchy. Overall, though, I think, those two injuries are going to be big for him, Kittle and Thomas, but Johnny Smith's not a bad backup option. I'd love to see his flex options besides Cooks right now, because I don't know if I love that, especially against Pittsburgh, but
They're not much. Jarvis Landry, potentially.
I might go with Landry over him.
Jerry Jeudy, who is a wide out one now.
Rumor has it he was in trade talks now recently, but we'll see. I like Sheehan's team. I think it's a little top heavy, so it'll be big for him with Thomas and Kittle, but still a solid squad. And then looking at the Pirates, I like Miles Sanders a lot, and I like both those running backs a lot, but Miles Sanders really showed up. I think seeing that last week has to be a big sigh of relief for Ross. Solid, but OBJ, I think that's going to be a huge one for Ross. He hasn't really showed up besides that long touchdown. Can he keep it up, and is he going to be a top 15, top 12 wide receiver? Are those days behind him? I think that's going to be big. But as we touched on earlier, Noah Fant, stud, big believer in him, especially after watching him in the first half against me in week 1. I like Ross's team. I'm going to have to go with Ross. Just the matchups. I think Prescott, Edwards, Hilaire in that game, and Sanders all have really good matchups. And I think Ross wins it pretty easily here, actually.
Yeah, I'm going Ross also. The big question for Ross every week is going to be his Browns. Does he start them each week, and how can they produce one?
Yeah. I mean, the flex spot's definitely still up for grabs. I think Odell's earned another start. Kareem, I mean, he went off, but the fact that he's not the main guy is a little sketchy. But I will say Sanders, not only having a good fantasy week, but the fact that they gave him bell cow type touches is very reassuring.
Right away.
It was like over 80% of the snaps, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
The big one here.
All right. I think this one is me. I mean, there's a lot to say about this one. There's 2 undefeated teams in the Valley, and after this one, there will be only one. I think Sandman's team is clicking on all cylinders right now, with Kamara being a top 3 fantasy player overall, and Carson looking like a real star as well over in Seattle. And then you got Kirch with the 2 QBs between Cam Newton and Ross, kind of decisions to make. Just looking at Sandman's roster this week, it's what I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago, the Kenny Galladay and me not being the biggest believer. It seems like a podcast I was listening to today said Galladay was kind of like a Miles Sanders, where they held him out an extra week just to be safe. So he's going to be coming into this fresh. I do like the Houston matchup for Connor that Wolf talked about earlier. Switching over to Kirch, I think I talked about it, but the Ertz trade was big, and Cincinnati's, their D is pretty bad. I can see Ertz finding the end zone. It'll be really interesting to see what Godwin produces with Brady. He had a few catches in week 1, but nothing too big. Then he had the concussion. I think gut, I'm going to have to give it to the Sandman. I think the way Kamara is playing and the matchup he has, I think it's going to be a pretty entertaining Sunday night game with Green Bay, and then Carson against Dallas, and even Scary Terry against the Cleveland team. He'll break a few touchdowns possibly. I just don't love the Jonathan Taylor yet. The Jets do suck, but I don't think he's going to be a full on 80% plus of the touches. So I'm going to give the slight edge to Sandman. I think Kirch finally makes a mistake at the QB. Not that he didn't week 1, but I think he makes the wrong choice, and it's going to bite him with the one he does. That's my prediction.
Wow.
It's going to come down to Hill on Monday night too, which is interesting.
Is that the only guy on Monday night?
My only guy on Monday night, unless they sub someone in. But
wow.
So even if he's down 25 going into it,
yeah, even 30,
it's going to be a game.
Got a chance.
I think Kirch said it best. He's like, Tyreek Hill is the ultimate 0 to 100 player in fantasy football. Like, he can be at 0 and then get 15 points in one play.
Yep.
This next one here's me.
Next 2.
Let's go. We got the Wakanda Warriors against the Nappers, 0-2. Nappers looking for a win. Also, kind of the Nappers, they're like I don't know how to exactly describe it, but they're definitely not like in the same situation as Kirk with the two QBs. But he's like, I got to pick between Breeze and Brady. It's like, will that make the right QB choice each week? You know, that's a tough call. It's like the 1A and the 1B with the QBs right there, picking between those two. But Austin Eckler, I mean, he's got a great matchup. This Josh Kelly guy came out of nowhere, but I think Eckler's going to have a nice week. Chubb, tough matchup against the Washington front. Juju's got a nice matchup, though. Cooper's got a solid matchup. Andrews, I would definitely think Dappy, if he's got a week to get in the win column, this would be it. And looking over on Chaw's side, what's Jacob's injury, Chaw?
He's going to play. He was banged up, sidelines for a couple of plays on Monday night, but he's one of the toughest guys in the league.
We'll see if Calvin Ridley can keep producing and just dropping boatloads of points for Chaw. Like Ross was saying earlier, there's questions with Allen Robinson, but I think Chaw's going to stick with him this week. Joe Mixon, who I'm not a big fan of, we'll see if he can. I mean, you're expecting Mixon to put up some big numbers, and
I'm holding on. I think that offense will turn it around, or not turn it
for sure.
To get better.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely reason for hope with Burrow, with all Bengals, not all Bengals, but. And then, like you said, Chaw, we were talking about it earlier when we were talking some trades. You said you got a big decision at your flex this week, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. You got. I don't know how many wideouts you said in the top 20.
I got Edelman. I got Robert Woods. I got Hollywood Brown. I got
solid matchups too for them all.
Steelers, and I got David Johnson for the Texans. I considering all 5 right now.
Yeah, it's tough. So I don't know. I'm leaning Dap, but we'll see. It's going to be definitely. This is going to be a close matchup for sure.
I got two quick
and
points.
There's a couple Monday nighters. Dap's got Mark Andrews, and Chaw might have Hollywood Brown. You never know.
I got 2 quick points. I think Mike Davis was the consensus best waiver pickup. We'll see what he does for Dap in the flex spot. That could be a big pickup for him for the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Absolutely.
And then Aaron Rodgers on Sunday Night Football. Chaw got a lot of shit for the trade so far. I think the Warriors are going to be going into that game with some heavy hearts, loving Rodgers and seeing what he can do for the squad.
Yep.
And we're facing Drew as of now, so.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely.
Oh, true. I didn't even the QB matchup. That's a nice dynamic.
Sunday night is huge.
Nice.
We're hoping Drew won't get that line.
Yeah, this is going to be a close matchup. I think it's going to be real close. But yeah, I forgot what I was just about to say. I was going to say one more thing.
I think that's good analysis right there, except that you picked the wrong time. It's all good.
CDs, TDs, tough blow, losing Saquon versus Dim Dogs. Still the Dim Dogs. No change in names there. I mean, he said he was going to have one for the first episode of the podcast. Hasn't had it. We run on week 3. It looks like he's just going to stick to Dim Dogs. I mean, hey, he's got Mahomes. The Ravens D is nice, but we'll see. I mean, I'm expecting a shootout there. Mahomes is Mahomes matchup proof. So D. Henry against the Vikings, surprisingly very bad defense to start the season. I mean, I don't think everyone was expecting them to be that bad on D, but it seems like you want to start your guys against the Vikings. James Robinson, big question mark. He's got a good matchup. He's the under of the week, though. It seems like the consensus under of the week. We'll see what he can do. D-Hop, solid matchup. I think Dim's probably going to be able to pull this one out. Lane's running back situation. He's got DeAndre Swift. I don't know if you can really rely on him. They're still definitely going with a heavy committee. Devontae Adams, hamstring injury. They said he's probably going to play. But, yeah, I'm definitely going to be leaning Dimmer on this one. Good dogs.
I'll tell you what, I really feel for a guy like Lane Grogan. He had an unreal week 1. It looked like he had a roster that was going to be competing for a playoff spot. Not that I don't think he still has the pieces that can do it, but just to lose a Saquon like that and his wide receiver 3 and Sutton in one day, that's a tough blow for overall a good, nice owner in the league. Like
you
hate to see it to him.
You were high
hate
on
to
his
see it
roster.
happen to him.
You were.
I hate to see it happen to a guy like him. It's tough.
He's not a big trader. Do you think he makes some moves here?
I mean, I'll throw this out. I offered him, since he needs a running back. I mean, so do I in this scenario, but it seems like I have more of like subpar running backs on my bench than he does. I offered him Ronald Jones for CeeDee Lamb just because I was maybe going to make a trade for like Julio or somebody else with my wideout. So I was going to try to replace one of my wideouts with CeeDee Lamb for Rojo, and I thought that maybe would be decent, and he turned it down.
You wonder if the name of the team kept him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I mean, Rojo's for sure not high, like not that good, and his role is diminishing, it seems like. But I don't know when you need to run it back because you got DeAndre Swift. Other than that, I don't know who he has other than those two guys. So Ronald Jones, he's going to have some bye weeks coming up, maybe some more injuries. Just a potential offer we threw out there. But me and Lane for sure are going to have to be making moves. I mean, I'm actively trying. I don't know, but yeah, he's not much of a trader off.
Yeah, Dim's really relying on James Robinson and Antonio Gibson, two rookie running backs on bad teams, and that to me is sketchy. That to me is really sketchy. But
damn, they're both in his lineup.
it's
I
a
just if he
better situation
if
than
he
Lane's
starts
in, but I don't know by how much.
if he starts the Ravens D, that is just one bold play.
It's a bold play, but I personally don't hate it as much as everybody else, as the panel does.
I think it's a horrible move.
You think they're going negative?
Dude, that game, I think it's a 55, the over-under. It's going to be
Sure.
Holmes isn't going to throw 3 picks and, he might throws 1 or 2 picks.
And then
they're going to get 3 or 4 touchdowns.
You add in the dynamic of Mahomes throws a pick, then he gets net 0 with his team because it's -2 for his QB. So it's a lose-lose to start that defense, in my opinion.
He'll listen to this and change it. Don't worry.
Yeah, that should get changed. But Jared Cook, it's I don't know how you can have faith in Jared Cook. He's so old at this point. I mean, just personally, I don't think he's that good. Fantasy, in real life anymore. It's when Dim threw out that over-under, it was 54.5 receiving yards. I was I should hammer this right now because Cook's not hitting this. He had 2 catches for 13 yards. It's that's not – yeah, he had a touchdown, and Dim was happy about that. But going forward, I don't know if you can rely on Jared Cook as your tight end. And you traded Zach Ertz, too.
Yeah, bad trade.
I offered him Evan Ingram. Actively making moves out here.
All right, boys. Looking forward to week 3. Any final thoughts before we send it out?
Should be a battle.
Looking to kill some kangaroos.
I still think week 2 is a little bit too early, but week 3 is things are going to shape up and come into form after this one.
Yep.
6 1-1 teams. It's gonna let's see how the Valley shakes up.
We'll see you boys next week. Keep it real.